Hi. Thanks for streaming in another meditation session. Yeah, I was just clearing some shit. And I was just watching some random news and things which is happening around the world. And I feel like democracy is, in a way, an illusion where uh, just, governments continue to do what they like to do, regardless of the will of the people, or the will of the people doesn't really always captures to the laws, and that's why there are a lot of revolutions, right? So people start protesting and demanding the rules which actually affect them, and those revolutions kind of like, you know bring back some of the will of the people into the democracy. But again and again, any form of democratic government has tilted in non-majority policies. Uh, but what I was focusing on was, how can we make it better? How can we have where everyone can contribute, everyone have a say, and at the same time, it's also represented by leaders depending on different issues. So imagine if you have a say on what happening locally, as well as some of the important laws, more like a referendum. So if people can take more referendums, then government would work in a way more efficiently, because they capture the referendum from the people. But the painful point of that is, not a lot of people will be involved in democracy or government to begin with, and the one who does have their own lives. So not everyone will be able to vote on any referendum, because it's super tedious. It's super painful to vote for the actual elections itself, let alone about referendums. That will be really inefficient. But I think technology has the answer to all of these questions. Different form of technology can different form of technology can be leveraged to improve the overall democratic process. The real question is, will there be any technology developed specifically to empower people? That is very tough question to answer. I don't think that it's going to happen anytime soon. If you think about it, any democratic country, you would notice, or very few democratic countries rather, have rank-based democratic process. So if you're voting for your representative or even president, you have a list of people who will be on the ballot, and you'll be picking one of them. Why not have rank by? Why not vote basis on different rank, like your basis on your preference, and then you can capture the will of the entire population, who is their first choice versus second choice versus third choice. So people don't have to pick between two evils. They just have to specify the preference in which what level of evil they are okay to endure. And that's a very straightforward concept, but I don't think that, if any, or maybe very few countries must have adapted rank-based voting system, because that affect the people in power, and that's why it's not going to happen anytime soon, at least in countries like United States or India. But technology can definitely make it possible, because I don't see that there is any reason or which is stopping us from use the existing technology to create a system which will uh, be more efficient, uh, like voting from your mobile devices itself. Especially now with the security measures we have, it's very, very easier to vote, and at the same time, you can even take a photo as a proof, right? So anyone can basically live vote, like and take a photo while voting, and we can use like biometric sensors and of different combinations and absolutely make it possible. I don't see any reason why not. The only thing which would be painful, or which would go away, or which might go away, would be the anonymity, because people would be able to tally what they actually voted, or anyone would be able to see what some person voted. Even if the government tries to make it more secretive, there is no replacement to anonymity, which for which you would have to actually physically go to a location and vote there. But I think even that might change with blockchain. I think blockchain have one of the keys to create this anonymous uh, identifier for specific individual, and no one would be able to see who that individual is. Maybe they can see the identifier. So this is my hypothesis, so I have no idea what I'm talking about. But when I just go on this imaginative train, sometimes things make sense to me, and I feel like there are good ideas out there, or good concepts out there, and so many brilliant people out there who would be able to uh, come up with a solution which empower people to use their existing technology and voice their opinion by voting, or by voting for referendums, at least, or at the very least for polling. So right now it's very difficult to capture the mood of the people, because the way they conduct polling, at least in US, is really funky. Uh, they they some institutes just poll based on the phone conversations they have with whoever took the poll, and few others captures the internet poll, which actually makes sense, because people would more likely be people will more likely vote via internet, or poll via internet, versus pick a call and answer questions. So polling itself has a huge benefit if someone can figure out a better way of designing a poll, or better way of capturing the poll. So imagine if every single person in a country, let's just say US, can poll every once a month, or once 2 weeks, or whatever. So people have an option to poll and show which candidate they support, and what issues they lean towards. That is a huge chunk of data, which will help future candidates to kind of prepare, like prepare their policies in a way, because they have to abide by the majority of the people. And I think blockchain would be able to capture that. I don't know how, but I have this gut feeling. Blockchain combined with other sensors within the phone should be able to capture the poll or vote of anyone. Or who knows, there could be even more futuristic version. I don't know, like in future, of course, we're all gonna be in a way embedded with different chips. We'll be using different chips. We'll be using different chips within our body for various purposes. So different type of sensors to track, maybe to track the physiological data like heartbeat and body temperature and other senses, and there would be better technology at that time which would be able to let people vote remotely, because if every individual is going to have their own chip, so to speak, then they'll be able to vote with I would say, like, more easily. But at the same time, I was thinking, what if people don't want to embed any chip within their body? I don't know how that's going to happen. It's going to be a really fun time, though, for sure. Different type of technologies which will create so many different type of things which we don't even know yet, like how internet created so many different things which did not exist before, or no one visualized it before internet exists. So the next technology gonna create so many different things which we can't even imagine at the moment, because the parameters to imagine that is limited at the moment. And I think technology definitely going to be helpful for meditation, because people will be able to capture more sensory data to see what actually happens when you are going through different phases within meditation. So is your heartbeat more relaxed or stressed? I doubt in meditation anyone gets stressed heartbeat, but whatever. And other data which will help us to meditate more effectively and get more benefits of mindfulness and meditation than we otherwise can. So technology can definitely help with that. And one of the things which I want is my own simulation room. That would be really cool. So just have this simulation room and simulate any kind of ambience, and meditate anywhere, right? So if it's a good simulation room, and if I can create an ambience of maybe meditating on a hilltop or somewhere close to a lake or river or something, and that would be really nice. I definitely want to go and actually do that in the nature, but in our day-to-day life we can't do that every single day. So if we have a simulation room, or when we gonna have a simulation room, maybe 40-50 years from today, then it will be like super cool to just sit in that simulation room and meditate in different ambience and see how you feel and react meditating with these different experiences. And to do so, I actually play different sound in the background. Sometimes I play, just a jungle sound, or sometimes a rainstorm, or ocean waves, or fireside. Or recently, I even played a volcanic eruption and a molten flow sound, which is actually very interesting. So I kind of like to meditate in different ambiences, and just for a change, some days it's good to just meditate in silence without any sound or noise in the background, and some days it's kind of good to kind of just have the feeling of different places. And the technique I use to meditate is Vipassana, where I focus on my breath and body sensations. And trust me, it's really difficult at times, and especially when it's late in night, which is actually right now. So if I don't start meditating right now, it's going to be more late, and there's a good chances that I'm going to just doze off in between meditation. So without any overdue, let's get started. Hey Google, set an alarm for an hour from now.
Got it. Your alarm's set for 2:28 a.m.